Vlad
The
skin.
10 million RP or whatever it was.
Most of the skins are unlocked as well in the tourney realm, so yeah. I don't know, hey, maybe he's just styling. He's like, I don't need it, man. I'm vanilla Vlad all the way. Let's do it. Don't even need help. Don't need these skin things that you talk about. Alrighty, so where's Mundo? Move him down there. Oh, I've done crazy things already with my portraits. Just trying to rearrange them effectively. To see pretty aggressive move out here actually from MVP Blue. Ooh, that's gonna get hard. Too many MVPs. Gonna have to remember them all. The best part is that the initials for their team on the overlay is just MVP. So the poor people at home.
I miss MV Pimp.
MV Pimp was pretty sweet. I actually noticed on the Korean server he's changed it. He has a space.
There was a space,
So
but the
sad.
lack of space was too strong.
It was so good. Alright, there we go. Just rearranging the portraits, and wow, very kind of aggressive setup here in this bush. Papa and I are definitely well acquainted with this particular bush. And if anyone from around the Australian scene that's been around for a while knows this one as well. But
Traditional camp spot for sure.
yes, a traditional camping ground. That's a good way to put it. That's Mundo here, just chilling. Looks like they're mainly defensively setting up there, not really camping. Mundo was actually scouting for vision as well.
And what a big turnaround from the last game. We saw about 3 or 4 wards down level 1, but no vision.
Yeah, I mean we've got 7 wards between these two teams, but no one's put one down yet. You know, saving it, making sure they don't get ganked too hard, I guess. I mean,
Well, you say that, but I mean the power of knowing which side of the jungle the jungler's on is just so massive because it allows one lane to play much more aggressive than they might otherwise. So I have to say that, you know, we saw those level 1 wards and I kind of went back and forth. But I just realized that, again, that information about the jungler is so much power because he's kind of the only unseen variable that early in the game.
yeah, and you know, in a lot of the landing phase, the jungler is often the thing that affects it. So you know, you're right. We have seen a lot of good early warding, and a bit surprising not to see it here. But instead, you know, maybe it's a gentleman's agreement for the first game. No wards for 5 minutes.
There was a comment in chat here. Red side 0.1 gold ahead. That was the sign that the support here, the Lulu, went deeper in the utility tree and picked up that extra 40 gold because that pumps you up the starting gold, whereas Zyra does not have the bonus flat gold.
Yeah, I mean you can tell by the extra ward that Lulu's had as well. She had 4 to 3 wards. Zyra, kind of unsurprisingly at this point, taking more of a defensive setup for part of her masteries because Zyra's just so squishy. And you really just do need a little bit of extra. Mundo gets solo here. And looks like no fear there. Goes straight in there and a great first blood from Lee Sin, taking the double buffs. And that's part of the danger of playing Dr. Mundo. Especially if you do kind of a predictable path there. I mean, Lee Sin just checked the spot he expected you to be at there. Looks like he even got quick double buffs there as well. In fact, he has... Oh, he has smite back up now. That makes sense to me. But yeah, that was a really nice first blood. Sorry, he stole both buffs. Of course he has stole smite. There we go. Now he takes blue off. As my brain catches up with itself. It's been a bit of a long break, so excuse me.
That Lee Sin execute against the low health Mundo. You know, he can get through the jungle. He does troll us with his constant low health in the jungle, but if Lee Sin face checks him, he's in for a lot of pain.
And that was the funny part, actually. I thought he was just, oh, it's Mundo getting low, it's fine. Like, oh wait, no, it's actually first blood gonna happen. Because Lee Sin was there. Right place, right time with that one. So no fee there on Lee Sin. Doing a nice one there. And again, continuing on. Oh, being spotted there by NDK.
Bossing Mundo out of his jungle again.
NDD.
And Ryze can't really respond to this. He's being pushed to the turret. So Lee Sin has free reign of the Bangkok Titans jungle here, and he just leaves that crippled Wraith camp.
Yeah, he's just happy to check it out. He's like, yeah, I don't want to take it. That's fine, I'll leave it.
It's the worst position to be in as a jungler who's already given first blood with a mid lane that can't respond, because it's pretty much saying, hey, enemy jungler, your jungle's mine.
Yeah, and it's, you know, kind of part of the thing about Ryze that we talked about. I mean, you don't necessarily expect to get invaded on Mundo. Mundo was known as the invade jungler for quite a while, but I mean, Lee Sin is a very good aggressive jungler. Zera's down the bottom here in a little bit of trouble. Mi5 going in for Ezreal as well. Never mind, he's going straight in there onto Hermes. And the plants there from Zyra. Ooh, a little bit of damage there. They get cleaned out of the way though. And everybody in bottom lane here quite low on both sides. It looks like everyone's just going to drink up some of their potions. One left for Graves and Ezreal right now. Also sitting on 1. So they're going to be about even in terms of health. But yeah, that was very close for both of them. Graves and Ezreal both have very strong, I guess, initiation capabilities, I'll call it. Not quite the right word, but oh, there we are. Speaking of, grasping roots into almost a buckshot there after the quick draw from Hermes. Looking pretty nice. But yeah, both Ezreal and Graves could just jump on the enemy if they get themselves out of position. And they've got a decent amount of burst as well, so...
And as that snare duration increases, I believe it starts at 0.75 and gets up to 1.75. Obviously,
Yes.
the grasping roots max is very common on support Zyra. it's just a lovely window for Graves to quick draw in, get that point-blank buckshot, and a sure kill can be applied, especially around level 6 when their burst just gets huge.
Bit of collateral damage in there as well, so level 6, so yeah, can just line up all the bursts. Even Zara's ult as well combos decently with the rest of her skills, so definitely a lot of burst damage there in that bottom lane, yeah, as you pointed out. Looks like No Fear that's just in the top there, clearing a few of the waves, trying to keep skills back here on Rengar. It's currently 33 to 27 though, as Riven goes back for an early Ninja Tabi award and 4 health potions. So it's really looking to do a lot of trading there in that lane, keep healthy. Stay safe of course as well with that ward. So again, I think Rengar's kind of fears were warranted here. He seems to think that this lane is, early on, definitely favours Riven in terms of aggression. He doesn't want any part of it, he just wants to farm. And he's got an early Heart of God as well, so almost kind of really committing to this plan of just, I just want to farm. No swords. We have seen many awesome Rengar builds that involve...
Oh baby, the all swords build.
4 long swords.
Which turned into what? Brutalizer,
Hex Drinker and Phage, yeah.
Hex Drinker?
It was awesome. There's Sunchip in the mid, gonna get cleaved here, but Vlad actually just turns around and Mundo under-leveled here in the jungle can't really afford to do a whole lot of, I guess, like drive-by style ganks here. That's a lot of what Mundo likes to do, is just run through lanes and pressure them. But when he's low, he's just going to take a lot of free harass and does need to farm up a little bit more, but Lee Sin just counter-jungling his hideout right now, actually clearing out the enemy wolf camp. So really just continuing to pressure this Mundo, and if he ever finds him, he's going to fight him and be very happy about it. It's actually quite close to level 6, 5.5 right now.
And the tournament pause comes out.
Oh, okay, looks like, I thought so. I was a few seconds behind you, but we'll probably catch up now. And now, yeah, there's a pause to kick it off. Not quite to kick it off, actually. This is the first time in this tournament, on this realm, where we didn't have a pause at the start of the match. But of course, to make up for it now, we have a pause.
Lee Sin runs into mid and disconnects.
I'm ready to get... Oh, I'm not ready. Wonder what will happen after this. Probably nothing. Don't think Leah's going to get hit there.
Might hit a free Q, I guess, if people reconfigure, but no, probably nothing too outrageous.
No. So, as we're here, let's go ahead and check what's going on in terms of CS, because we've got a little bit of time here to analyze some of the things that we can see. Jungle CS is actually quite even, interestingly enough, but of course Lee Sin with that kill is a little bit ahead, both in gold and of course just in levels as well, with a bit of that experience. So that's nice for him, but 21 to 23 there. The mid lane looking quite good for Vladimir here early on, 46 to 27 in favour of Sunchip there, up against Leah in the mid lane. Down the bottom there, we've got Graves being played by Hermes, currently 44 to Ezreal's CS of 31. That's NVM. I'm assuming that's short for Nevermind, so I'm just going to go ahead and call him Nevermind. If that's incorrect, again, chat, please feel free to correct me, but Nevermind's a pretty sweet ID, so we're going to run with it. And down the bottom, Lulu is losing because she has 6 CS to 1.
Now, what do you feel about this pickup from Ezreal here? He's got the Zerka Greaves as the rush here, no Doran's Blades to help with last hitting at turret, and Ezreal actually has pretty low base AD, so I'm not really sure why he's valued move speed so much here, and the attack speed obviously as well, since his passive, if he's going to be using spells, provides him with a nice chunk of innate attack speed.
Certainly dodging skill shots makes a bit of sense to me, because, you know, Zara's skill shot, pretty hard. If you get hit, you're going to take a lot of damage. And mobility is definitely a good asset, but I guess for Ezreal, you kind of have Arcane Shift for that as well. And I think I agree with you, just having Doran's, even for the extra health as well, just to make sure you don't get kind of bursted too hard. I mean, maybe he couldn't have afforded that, I'm not sure. If he started with boots, maybe that's all he could afford. I'm not quite sure, he actually has enough for a Doran's now, so I'm going to assume it was probably a money thing, but certainly he would like to have a Doran's, so it's going to be a little bit harder down here.
I don't think there's many scenarios on first back where a Doran's and Pots is not superior to the straight up Zerka Greaves. So again, just an interesting thing to
no, I think I agree with you with the Doran's. I actually don't think he had enough money. Well,
I mean, Zerka Greaves is 570 to finish, so
it is
definitely had enough for a Doran's.
It is too, you're right. I was trying to figure out that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Who knows? I mean, clearly just favors that mobility on Ezreal, I guess.
Could be a playstyle choice, and you're right. Yeah. I mean, avoiding that grasping roots is a big deal.
Yeah, certainly a lot of things we can chalk up to style choices some of the time. You know, some things become more popular, some things don't. But certainly, Nevermind in this instance has decided, yeah, you know what? I need some Zerka Greaves.
Rengar's starting to lose trades up top if you look. He's, despite the armor page, it doesn't have any extra armor, but Riven has been getting some favorable trades in.
Oh, that cannot be good news for Rengar. You know, when you go in with your quote-unquote verse Garen page, 34 base armor. Yeah, Rengar.
It does mean that, you know, I mean, he is maxing the W in lane, so clearly going for a bit more sustained damage, and a bit more sustain, sorry, and the burst. Obviously, the second W is magic damage burst with that 15% heal, but it's not quite the same presence as the kind of 45 armor panel flat AD builds we see on Rengar. So as you point out, very defensive minded.
Yeah, that Heart of God, I think he's a little bit scared. Wants to stay safe. NDD there gets love tapped by Vladimir, who just actually stole the enemy blue buff. Pairing up there with No Fear on Lee Sin. So nice little invade there. Continuing to keep Mundo down. He's actually level 5 still. He's approaching level 6, but he's not quite there yet. And Lee Sin is, yeah, just a bit over 6. So poor Mundo is not having a very fun time at all in the jungle right now.
Interesting to see Graves in this game taking a page from Captain Jack here. Just, you know, had the goal for a BF sword instead of going for the kind of build we see Double Lift build a lot, the Zerka Greaves, Double Doran's Vamp Scepter kind of build. Just straight damage. I think he's fairly confident that the moment the Zyra hits a Grasping Roots, he'll be happy to get a kill with the collateral damage buckshot combination.
Yeah, and the build you mentioned that, you know, you said Double Lift, like that's a fairly standard AD build that we see from a lot of AD carry players. I think one of the interesting things about Graves is that his natural tankiness with his passive
Dive up top lane.
Yep, Skill's in a little bit of trouble, and oh my goodness, that wind slash. Just
Release in E, really, really strong against Rengar.
Just ate Rengar's face off, and a nice two-man dive there. I am live, which is good. I was wondering again if I was a bit behind, but I seem to be catching up with you. So
unless I've got some sort of super secret,
maybe
ahead of vision.
That would be ahead of vision. Sounds like fun.
Sure, it sounds like something futuristic.
It does. It sounds good. I like it. No, just a nice catch as always.
So the CS actually a bit reflected in what we've been seeing down bot lane here. 82 CS to 56 CS from Ezreal without any real jungle pressure down bot.
And this is what we saw from Captain Jack earlier when he just absolutely dominated. It wasn't Ezreal, was it? It might have been. No, I don't think it was.
I believe it was a Corki.
It was a Corki, sorry, you're right. Fairly similar champions. Zarazek checking a little bit of damage here, but a great knockup there actually, but maybe not going to be enough. Never mind, going to pick that one up, but Zaraz goes down his own home. He's could get the double here. There's the box shot. One more auto flashes for it. A little bit
525 range.
A little bit out of range. And Mundo's coming in now as well for the slow, and Ezreal's going to get out of there. Despite having very little health and basically no mana. A 1-for-1 trade is all they're going to get.
Pastry time.
Yeah, I mean, it's someone like Graves probably could do with a bit of a shorter range. But it certainly hurt that. Oh, he's a great champion. No one will ever take that away from Graves.
Definitely kind of recognized the rune she's up against, but Brutalizer rush up top, and although he has quite a lot of flat armor, I mean the 15 armor pen from Brutalizer, not even half of what Rengar runed, it does mean more damage.
It does, and more cooldown as well, which is great for Riven. Riven's actually interesting, she's kind of an AD caster actually. And, I mean we call Graves an AD caster, but Riven, to me in the purest sense, is very much an AD caster.
And she remains that way. Like,
yes.
Obviously, Graves can transition away from being an AD caster. It's kind of his thing. Once he gets his bloodthirster, he's pretty much as strong an AD caster as he'll be all game. But his right-click damage only scales once he gets Zeal into Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, and you know, as he transitions out, just to be a normal AD carry. As Dragon got took there as well, got taken even. As my English fails me as it gets later into the evening.
11-minute Bloodthirster from Graves here. Just a Bloodthirster straight up, much like Captain Jack.
And yeah, I was going to say...
What a man to take a nod from, though.
Yeah, he's not too bad, is he? And as I was mentioning about Graves' passive build, that's kind of what makes this work. If you're aggressive enough in lane, you force a lot of trades. The early BF still just lets you trade so well with your lane opponents. Look, who really out-trades Graves? Not many people. As his passive just kind of keeps him in check and gives him a kind of a mini Doran's effect. That the health Dorans would give you, you get relative health from the free resists and the armor you get. And if you get
There's definitely champions that can all-in Graves, like if Vayne gets ahead or gets a good gank, she can all-in Graves pretty much at will when her ultimate's up. But you're right, when it comes to straight man fight, oh my god, it's Riven and
continuing the man fight. Riven goes in there, the wind slash is up, needs to hit it.
It's not going to be enough damage.
No, it's not. And she kind of wants to dive, I think. Yeah, mid lane we're having more dive. Stun chip quite low here and actually gets killed there by Leah. But Vladimir a little bit too deep there, and oh, maybe not. Ryze gets away with about 100 and a bit health. As Zera's down the bottom taking quite a bit of damage. Yeah, the action never stops here.
With that Bloodthirster though, he's got plenty of life still to get up health. He doesn't need any sustain from Zyra.
And this is what's making Graves... Oh, Rengar, I think he's dead. Yeah, the Ignite will do it. And Kankui? Oh man, that's hard. think it's Kanquit. I'm not sure.
Rengar.
No. Riven. Trying to figure out the ID for the Riven player.
We defer to the chat.
We'll defer to the chat, but I think that's Kanquit.
Riven.
Riven's good too.
I'm trying to say that like they say Pippin in NBA Jam, but so Riven.
Oh man, NBA Jam, that game's so good. Grasping
Ooh,
Roots.
Grasping Roots hits.
Never mind. Takes a lot of damage. Oh, collateral went through there as well. Collateral damage.
Yeah, the full damage from the Q, and that made the difference.
Yeah, Ezreal will live to fight another day, but we'll have
Such
to
a
go back
potent
again.
lane, though.
Yeah, it really is. You kind of put one
And
foot
it's
out of
funny
line.
though, we say that about pretty much every Zyra lane we see. She just gives so much as a support.
She is pretty good. Here's True Shot Barrage comes down the lane. And
I mean, we started off by talking about how much we loved Ezreal Zyra, and then Varus Zyra, and now Graves Zyra seems pretty good too.
Graves Zyra is quite good. I think we should expect a lot more of this. Not just here, but in live in general. I mean, Zyra support's been really kind of the new thing. Actually, nice job there from Hermes. Outlast hitting Zyra's plants. It's not particularly hard, but something you've got to think about.
And a 41 CS advantage opened up bottom lane.
Yeah, so not quite as brutal as we saw Captain Jack in this exact lane with this exact champion, but it is... He is ahead, very much ahead of this Ezreal. And Easy is struggling just a little bit here down the bottom lane. Or never mind. Just not having a very fun time. Hasn't died yet, which is nice, but Lulu has, and oh, actually could get a free kill here from E5. Zyra turns around, ignites exhaust there. Hermes comes back in as well. And that is going to be Zyra being saved. But we are having a fight near the blue as well. Leah gets out of the way there as Lee Sin tries to throw the Q behind him. And now come the clue lands in from Lulu there. Just trying to slow everybody down, and Ezreal now could actually get caught here. But no, never mind, he's going to get out of this one, I think. Arcane Chip is up as well, so maybe looking around for a dragon. I think just fishing for that blue buff though. No luck there for MVP Blue, sadly, but they are going to, be pretty happy with the pressure they're putting on. And I have to say, early on in this game, 4,500 gold, 15 minutes is not too bad.
Just check the three carries, you could say, the top lane, the mid lane, the jungle. So the top lane, the mid lane, and the AD carry all fairly significantly in the advantage of MVP Blue.
Yeah, so when your three solos, essentially, are beating your lane opponents.
30 CS, 53 CS, and 30 CS.
53 CS, that's a lot in mid.
And that's just in mid lane in a short lane, but Rise, before he got that first kill, was pressured so much that it only got worse from there.
Looks like Rengar's not having a great time, but he doesn't seem to be dying. So I've got a chain vest now. Start getting a bit of health there, using his W to farm up the minions, but Riven just absolutely brutal right now, just continues to go, and Rengar blows his ult. Really just does not want to get caught out here, and looks like down the bottom, Ezreal's in a lot of trouble. Hermes goes forward there, and there's the auto attack, and you've got to think that Xerath is probably dead. That's a nice wild growth. But you have to think maybe, oh, the collateral damage. Sniped after the flash as well.
And it felt like the wild growth should have been used on Ezreal there. I mean, I was very surprised to see it was still up.
Could have been an instance of...
Might have been a range thing, or just, yeah, as you say, the instantaneous burst, which, the Zyra Graves, they're all about the burst, but, yeah, just surprising to me.
It was. I mean, I'm guessing it was probably just a matter of, oh, the cooldown wasn't actually up for a few seconds. It's just a bit of bad timing there, but certainly a nice one there for MVP's bottom lane. Looking real nice
Graves
right now.
happily proxies.
Yeah, no worries. Just trying to deny more and get a turret now as well. There we are. Actually took an extra turret hit
This
for no
mid
reason.
turret, if you mouse over mid turret, it's gonna be down soon too.
Yeah, 168 HP is not too much. And Vladimir could pretty much go over and spit on it at this point and probably go down.
The Rise wants to stop the back, so good play there.
He does. Blue buff up for him. And Cheer the Goddess plus Catalyst. So he's kind of on the way, but this is the thing about Rise, you really just, you need a lot to kind of go right for you. Or at least for the game to go out long enough that you're able to farm.
Feels like SKLZ up the top on the Rengar taking a leaf out of the Darien playbook of when in doubt build Sunfire Cake.
That's not a bad one in my opinion. I do like.
Well, I mean, he's
Sunfire
maxed the
Cakes.
W, so he's clearly not about the physical burst that's where you'd expect the brutalizer kind of builds. He's all about the W, the magical burst. So I think it's going to be jump in with his stealth, use the double tap W, and then be an annoying Sunfire Cake burning man.
Yeah. I mean, it's decent. It's going to be an interesting sort of bruiser here. Kind of sad it doesn't have any actual AP runes. That could have been fun. And he's slowly catching up on CS, although this could be bad news. Bad news for MVP, actually. Got Xerath and NDD here rotating up. Oracle's up for Mundo. This could be what Rengar needs.
Well,
sorry.
Lulu was tried to go to and fro there, trying to get the closest proximity to Riven, but showed herself a bit prematurely there.
It's a bit unfortunate. Oh, never mind here as well. So 4 members of the Bangkok Titans really...
They want a turret.
Yeah, and they kind of want Riven in the deal as well. Lee Sin's going to come up and defend. Riven actually jumps forward there, I think. Maybe doesn't think Ezreal's here, and there's the wind slash coming out. Nice little bit of damage there. Actually pushing the minion wave back as well with their Q, which is kind of nice.
Look at Graves down bottom lane. They've just abandoned bottom lane, and Graves is going to get an inner turret, which is that much more golden vision. They're going to have complete vision of any movement towards the blue buff from Bangkok Titans here.
Yeah, and there we are. Gets taken down at 18.5 minutes. Graves can keep going maybe if you want. I'll just rotate mid. That tower, as we said, very low. Almost one auto from Graves would probably do it. He's actually taking wolves as well.
And he has money for the Phantom Dancer.
Yeah. Still action up top though. A lot of focus on this top lane here for BKT. The Bangkok Titans really want to try and get something made up here, but the response here has been good.
3,000 gold lead base time for Graves over Ezreal.
Oh, that's ugly.
Yep.
Very
ugly. He has Bloodthirst the Phantom Dancer, and Ezreal has 700 gold on top of his Phage.
Not particularly exciting for young Ezreal.
No.
And again, Graves just really dominating some of these.
And assuming Graves hits any skill shots on anyone in the fight, it's going to be night and day between the two.
Yeah. As our skills are actually going to jump onto mid 5, so Zara could go down here, very squishy. There's a wild growth for the knockup, a great ult though, and a beautiful Hemo Plague from Sunchip. Hermes comes in as well with the AoE, and Vladimir is just ripping people apart, and now Skills in so much trouble. There's the triple for Vlad. And Hermes gets low, but it's not going to be enough, and he gets the ace.
First to regen, too strong.
And what an incredible team fight there. Zara, beautifully placed ult, the Hemo Plague on top there from Sunchip. The triple kill for Vlad, and Zara just walks out of the way after flashing there. And just so much AoE damage from MVP Blue. Absolute, what a rout that team fight was.
And yeah, 20 minutes, I mean, 14k gold lead. Unless they have a really deep-seated plan here, Bangkok Titans, it's looking grim to say the least.
It is. We talk about 10,000 gold leads. They're not that great at 30 minutes. We've seen them at 20 minutes so today, and they are even worse in that scenario.
BKT never surrenders, says Blue Rolling Door. Well, let's see if they can carve anything back from this game. At least, you know, win a team fight, pick up any information they can about MVP Blue. But getting window back into this game is kind of out of their hands at this point. It has to be a big misplay from MVP Blue. Yeah,
it's just kind of, you know, their game to lose territory that we talk about sometimes.
Definitely.
I certainly respect that the team doesn't want to surrender. I mean, really, if you have the strength, you have the mental energy, why not? Keep playing, you know. As you said, you might learn something. Just stay warmed up, honestly, you know. Kind of keep your heads in and think about the next game. Use the time. Use this time that you won't have in the draft to think about, okay, if we are going to lose this game, what do we need to do next game? So that's great. I mean, I really respect that from the Bangkok Titans, but as we've said, it's just not looking good. And there's no amount of subtle words there will say otherwise right now, because numbers don't lie. And right now the numbers do look quite good for MVP Blue, but certainly not over until the Nexus is down. People have been wrong before.
More than a little bit intimidating.
He has an extra BF sword.
Sure.
A second best friend. And now
I think Ezreal really needs to borrow one of those.
He does. If only there was some sort of system where you could mug people. Get a kill on Graves and take his item.
And Dota.
Yeah. Just kill him and take his items. That'd be sweet. I feel
that bounty. That champion was so fun.
Yeah. Good old Dota. Fun times. But yeah, Graves at 264 AD. It's looking pretty scary right now with them double buffs. Even approaching level 16, so that collateral damage is going to do even more. And it did a lot of work in that last team fight on top of that Hemo Plague. So, I mean, Graves, we said he kind of tapers off as that AD caster, but at this point, he's actually doing pretty nicely for just pure AoE AD damage. As Riven continues
Comment
to
in the chat. Gods is on saying, Ryze should get Banshee Veil so dumb. And while, you know, Banshee Veil does synergize very well with Ryze, with his mana ratio nerfs, and especially in this game where Rengar's building full tank and Ezreal's behind, he has to be a damage threat. He needs to have that ability power, or they will lose team fights, whatever the situation.
Hermes rotating up here in the top lane with Kankui. Can do a little bit of damage here. In fact, a lot of damage.
If you have a top lane going full tank and then you go full tank in mid, then, I mean, what are you saying?
Yeah, and that's kind of part of the problem with Ryze, is that his mana ratios have been nerfed so much that he can no longer be very tanky and do a lot of damage unless you get a lot of farm. So people have been going, we kind of need Rod of Ages, we might need Archangel stuff, stuff like that, just because he needs a little bit more AP to get more damage out. And the thing with that build is that it just takes too long, for the most part, which has been part of the problem a lot of the time. And MVP...
Against double AP, I think the only the Rise build I do like is, oh boy, is MVP. Getting an uncontested Baron here. I don't mind the Rod of Ages into Abyssal. I feel like that does very well with the flat shred on his E, the spell flux. But any other build, it just feels like you delay damage so long.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Rise, you know, before when Rise was very good, very strong, he didn't have to balance between being tanky and doing damage. He just did both. Rengar up on the top line, taking a lot of damage here, and Sunship's going in there, just throws out a few spells, not even interested in chasing. That Hemoplague did so much damage though. Goodness gracious, Vladimir has got Will of the Ancients and Zon is up already with a Negatron Cloak to boot.
He's not even going for a full damage build, he's still building that kind of half and half. You're probably going to get an Abyssal Scepter with that Negatron, but oh boy, we might see a dive here.
MVP Blue don't even need to dive, they take out the turret. Mundo's going to go down here. Hermes picks that one up with collateral damage. Riven going straight deep in there with the Wind Slash, and Skills could be in a bit of trouble as well. Sunship going forward, no Hemoplague, we've got plenty of damage, and Leah trying to cut under the turrets there. And MVP diving so hard here past all the turrets towards the fountain. In fact, they're going to tank up quite a bit here.
Like 3 loads of double turret shots, but
still
survives.
And now the inhibitor's going to get taken out here as well. A clean 3 for 0 there. And MVP Blue are not going to stop. They're going to try and take out the top turret here as well. Bit of face tanking from Me5. And it's the poke from Ezreal trying to keep them off it desperately. But MVP are just absolutely storming the castle right now.
And you have to say that it's looking like an all-Korean tournament from here.
Certainly in this game. I mean, there's at least one more game here for Bangkok Titans if they do lose this game, and it's certainly looking that way. But, yeah, I mean, when you have 5 Korean teams left in the top 6 of a tournament, you have to think that maybe
Korea's... been so one-sided, yeah. It does seem like...
Korea's doing pretty well.
Korean teams.
They're not bad. Feels like Hotshot was right, talking about the depth of the Korean scene. And we've seen that too in a lot of our recent tournaments. So we'll see. I mean, if MVP do end up taking out this series, we're going to have a top 4, or all-Korean top 4. And that is going to be really interesting, because the question from then on is, who actually goes forward? Who goes to IEM Singapore? And once we get to IEM Singapore, what happens there? Because that could be amazing. Some of these teams that we've seen are just so good. In fact,
like
all
when
the
Blaze
teams...
turned it on last series, that was League of Legends unlike we've seen since we started casting the Asian scene pastry time.
And how does that stack up, you know? There are decent teams defending IEM Singapore. We've got Absolute Legends, EU I believe, CLG Prime. The 2 teams...
MYM?
MYM, yep. And was it Fear? Who are now Quantic? If it's...
no, Fear is the old
MME
MTWNA and what was their last name? My mind is feeling... Oh, MME Ferris, yes. No, it wasn't Fear, I don't believe.
Okay, not Fear. I'm trying to think of the other team that's qualified. Was it M5 maybe? I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll find that out. I was told yesterday. I've forgotten now. Seeing as it's quite late now today.
For you while we have a bit of time.
Yeah, no worries. We'll get that sorted out. But certainly, I mean, you know, looking as now we are closing in on the end of the qualifiers slowly but surely. We'll certainly have them all done by this evening. Or at least that's certainly the plan. Any extra delays notwithstanding, but touch wood, that doesn't happen.
So it's Absolute Legends NA, CLG Prime, Meteor Makers, MYM, and another European team. Kidi's Milam team. Clearly not a team I'm familiar with.
No, and Hemoplague now on Lulu is going to do a lot of damage here. Leah as well taking a lot of damage, and Sunship picks it up there, and MVP Blue just having their way with the Bangkok Titans base at this point. Diving forward, Nofi just goes in. The collateral damage to Zyra there. Wind Slash into the fountain. And yeah, there are going to be a few turrets. There's 3 kills, the rest of the inhibitors. And goodbye Nexus. And that's it, they surrender as well, I think. Yeah, realizing the game was over, that's it. And that's really the only word for it, isn't it, Smithy? A dominant first game there from MVP Blue. Bangkok Titans, it as well.